How you doing out there, Saskatchewan, on this Tuesday? Like the big voice said, for Saskatchewan Lotteries, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in our province. Thanks for riding along for the next 3 hours. Maybe you only can stay for a bit. You can always pick it up in podcast form or watch it on YouTube later. SportsCage, we're going athletics for the next 3 hours. Colson's with me today in the pocket. I'm on this side of things, it's a solo mission today, but we got some guests for you. And we're going to hear from some guys. We're going to talk Riders as Dave Thomas has a real interesting move today from the Riders. Really, really interesting. We're going to hear from Tommy Neild, Antoine Brooks Jr. How about Jock Wilson from QR77 in Calgary? He does the pre- and post-game show for the Stamps. He'll be with us in hour one. What's the mood? What's the feeling in Calgary before the big game on Saturday? Are you going to the game? Let us know. 936-6262. I'm a possible last-minute go to the game. Why? Because Friday night, so my brother talks, Friday night, default Helix Finger 11 playing at Shake the Lake. Oh, by the way, we have Shake the Lake tickets to give away today. So, Colson, you talked about it earlier. We got winning. We got Shake the Lake tickets. We have
Pump Jacks
trivia in hour two. Today we're playing for $50.
$50
Because someone walked away with 150 last week.
Exactly.
So if you get it right today, you got to dial in. You got to have a telephone. So if you don't have one, borrow one from somewhere. Remember in the old days, we used to walk into a place, be like, "Can I borrow your phone?" They always used to let kids do it. If you're older, it's probably just weird. But yeah, we got winning to give away. What was the other thing we're giving away?
Pick the score.
Pick the score. 3 ways to win. All right, back on track here with the show. Hour two, Arash Madani comes in, baseball. We're going to talk some Blue Jays because it's some interesting stuff going on last night in Pittsburgh. Also in hour two, Joe Robustelli is going to join us. Saskatchewan Roughrider Receiver. So we got a little exclusive with him. Maybe you got some questions for Joe. Let us know. Hour three, Glen Suitor and more from the Riders all throughout the show. It's a busy one. Busy. And winning. So Shake the Lake Friday at the Connexus. Saturday. I don't know how we're going to do the tickets yet. Just got to keep winning. We're going to give you a trigger to do that. But I was looking up the lineup. I'm a big Default fan. Default, call them what you want. That's Dallas Smith, lead singer. That was kind of the OG for him back in the day. I used to spin his tracks, their tracks, when I was working on rock radio, thinking I knew everything about life. Late 20s, mid 20s, whatever it was. They're the closer Friday night. Finger 11 is right before them. And then Helix. Give me an R. Oh, I don't know the rest of the song. It's just how it goes. So if you want to go to that, because on Saturday you got a little Stampeders. Not the joke, not the football team. The band. I'm surprised actually they're still giving her. 7:15 Trooper. They play here a lot. And then the Headstones. 9 p.m. on Saturday. So we'll give away some Shake the Lake tickets. We'll talk Shake the Lake. We always want you to participate in the show. Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. You can call as well, but I know a lot of you like to text because 2025 is a texting world. I know a lot of people yesterday were on the Riders and are they bringing in a kicker? Someone to maybe push Brett Lawther. And there were some people that thought they had ideas on who. So we can still go there if that's what you want to say. Let us know. All of our guests join us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza tonight, too hot to cook, even barbecues. Pick something up for the fam or for yourself if you're single. Maybe just live in a single condo by yourself. Get yourself a 10-inch wheel. Watch some baseball. Life's good. And then our sports tickers are for Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Also Extreme Hockey and Sport. And Regina Steelcraft Doors. But I kind of teased it off the hop here. some interesting news with the Riders today. I got this from Dave about an hour ago, and I was like, huh? Antoine Brooks Jr. moving from defense to offense. I had to look twice at the email. Colson, I don't know if you had to look a couple times. But I'm like, has Dave been hitting the sauce on a Tuesday afternoon? What's going on here? But yeah, I guess it's happening. Coach Mace on moving Brooks Jr. from defense to offense.
No, the kid is just, man, he could do a lot of things. Like, he's just a heck of a football player, and just finding different ways he can help this team and, make plays for us. So a little bit, we're just testing some things out, but he's been doing it for the last, few weeks during scout team. He caught a lot of people's eyes, so just taking a little peek, see what that looks like.
I don't mind it. And I don't know enough. Like, I think unless you are, like, with the team every day and you're watching it, all teams. I'm sure this happens a lot. It's like, let's give a try. Let's give a guy a try over here. Again, I've made it evident. I'm a huge New England Patriots fan. I remember when the Patriots put Julian Edelman at defensive back.
That was a playoff game too, wasn't it?
Your memory is better than mine if that's the case. But an athlete's an athlete, so try him out. And I get it isn't high school football or minor football where that happens a ton and it's easier and you just got athletes. We're talking pro ball here. We're talking huge men that are paid to hit and hit hard. But if you could sprinkle it in, give a guy a look, I'm all for it. I think it's, as they say, outside of the box thinking for sure on the Riders. We're going to hear from Antoine Brooks Jr. in a bit and his take on it. But the other big news yesterday, like I talked about, and you were talking about, at 936-6262. I could go back and read some of the messages here. Colson, you weren't here yesterday. There are some good ones. There are some people that were, trying to be funny, which is great too. And then there were a few that off the rocker, I would say. But Brett Lauder, there was no one else at Rider practice today kicking footballs. It was just him. What does Coach Mace have to say about our kicker?
Yeah, I mean, he's a pro, man. So, it's the first thing he just identifies. Yeah, no doubt, not the year he's wanted to have, certainly to this point. But, there's still a lot of ball left. But he's had a good couple days since the game, getting out and swinging it, man. So just staying consistent, not trying to do too much, getting outside of his process. But, just narrowing in and focusing on the things he's got to get better at. So that's just part of being a pro.
What is it, 66% he's kicking at? That's not good. Whoa, texts are coming in already here. We got, who is it? Russell, Swift Current. He's surprised they didn't bring somebody in today. No one.
Yeah, 66% from what I can see here.
Again, I still on the fence. I'm still on the fence, guy. I don't know. Yeah, Boris Beatty was the overwhelming consensus. That's who we should bring in yesterday from SportsCage listeners.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing? Like I said, we don't know. Is he working at some accounting firm? He's working for Mr. Peterman right now, getting some things done on a split shift. We don't know. If you know, let us know. And he's born in France. Also learned that yesterday. French Canadian. But then we learned the idiotic CFL rule. Allegedly.
That is the rule. I was listening to that part. Well,
thanks for listening.
Yeah, no problem. Got to support the show. It makes sense to a degree, right? Like what you come in as, you can't change that. But they do have the rule where if you're an American and you're here for, what is it, how many years? If you're with one team for 3 years and in the CFL for 5, then you're a naturalized Canadian or something too.
Is that still a thing?
Something like that. It's not you become a full Canadian, but you can like replace partial reps or something. It's really convoluted. And I'm kind of like, why don't you just say A, you're a Canadian, or B, you're not?
If you're going to go through the hoops of becoming a national in any other country, go nuts, bud. You play as a national. Maybe you shack up with a lady. You put a ring on that finger.
Get the green card.
You get married. I know a lot of guys that did that down in the States back in the day. Younger guys. Some are still there. I'm like, why? Make him a Canadian. But if that's one of the guys, are they looking? Is Jeremy O'Day? Does he have that in his phone now as Boris, not just like an unknown number? Conversing back and forth. Maybe there's some texts late at night. Maybe, I don't know. Or there's probably, I would think there's maybe somebody that we're not even thinking of. And again, in the post-game show that I was listening to after the game on the weekend, and well, did we get the clip of the Justin Tucker?
I hadn't pulled it yet. I think Curtis was working on it, but
Justin Tucker was a kicker for the Baltimore Ravens,
and he's currently not kicking because of outside football reasons.
Yeah, it's some bad business.
Yeah,
some bad stuff going on there. But
Roscoe coming in here, I would kick a solid 0.5%.
Roscoe, I don't know. Send us a video. Let's see what you got. But Justin Tucker's not coming up to kick field goals. It's a great. I love the creativity and what people think could happen. But Jeremy O'Day, and I know everyone's slag. When's the last time someone messaged us slagging on O'Day at 8-1? Hey, O'Day and Reynolds gotta go. Get him out of here. Pretty quiet over there now, aren't ya? They got a good handle on things. So maybe there is something in the works. Maybe there's somebody. I do agree, getting back to the post-game show, where I think it's Justin Dunk. Luke's talked about it as well. Like, you got to bring in somebody that kind of knows the league, especially at this point, and kicking in different stadiums. And what is it like in, I guess we've already done the Hamilton thing, which is supposed to be one of the toughest. Winnipeg, though. Yeah.
Because I think Darian said yesterday, right, even if you bring in a young guy, then you get to the playoffs and the young guy's not experienced in that, right? And now you're wishing you had your vet, right? That's what Darian was saying yesterday?
I know, but everybody's a young guy once.
Oh, yeah.
You got to take that risk and that chance in whatever sport, whatever position, right? Receiver. How many times? We see with Damian Alford, the young guy making things happen. Dante Myers, touchdown Donnie.
Yep. Yeah, and I wouldn't disagree with that. I'm not going to speak for Darian. I think he's just saying at this point in the season, bringing in a young guy, because we're halfway through the year.
I think this is when you do it.
I think you would do it at the start of the year, but we're too late now, so it's just kind of you roll with what you got.
It's interesting stuff, for sure. Coach Mace today also talked about the motivation, and is there extra motivation there this week after the earlier loss to Calgary?
Just executing their jobs, really studying the opponent, honing in, communicating pre-snap, potentially what they might see and certain adjustments throughout the game. It's just attention to detail for those guys, and then capitalizing on opportunities. We talk about that all the time. They'll always present themselves. It's just a matter of if we do something with it. So, like I said before, we'd love to always keep offenses out of the end zone in this league. I haven't seen a whole ton of that, but certainly something that I know the guys will continue to push for. But at the end of the day, man, just make the plays that come to you and hold them to one less point than us.
That was him talking about the defense. Colson hit the wrong button. That happens. We have a lot of carts, a lot of CDs floating around here. He hit the wrong one. That's Coach talking about the defense. How can they be better considering they haven't given up a touchdown in 2 games? O'Day and Reynolds got to go. Settle down. Here is Coach Mace talking about the motivation this week after an earlier loss to Calgary?
Certainly, I think the tape will speak for itself. Certainly we're going to have to watch that tape again this week, and if that's what it takes to motivate the guys to get it going. But for us, is the same as always, man. And what motivates us is just fixing things we need to fix intrinsically. So that's the motivation for us, and it's the same thing each week. But certainly, when they go back and watch the thing, what we identified as our worst game of the year. They're going to have to see that over and over and over again. So we'll see if that makes a difference.
Yeah. Jock Wilson again coming up here in a bit, about 10 minutes time from QR77 in Calgary. Does the pre and post game show. I'm curious to find out the injury situation with the Stamps coming off a bye week, where that leaves them. Let's go to the text line, Prairie Land Rentals. Whether you need a front-end loader, a welder, or a spade, they can get it to you. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. Anything you need for that late summer or fall project, they can rent it to you. Also, home of Husqvarna, if you're looking to buy one of those power tools. Bob from Regina, how you doing? Stop the ludicrous talk about changing kickers. It won't happen. Shouldn't happen. Get over it already. Lots of exclamation points from Bob there. Who do we have here? Kurt in Moose Jaw. Now's the time. If we do it after Labor Day, I think it's too late to bring in somebody. So, Bob and Kurt, you guys can fight on social media debating that. I'm on the fence. We haven't needed it yet. That's like what... Let's go through the schedule. Too bad we couldn't wager on this. What game is it going to come down to a kick? Is it going to be one of the Winnipeg games? Montreal coming here. Speaking of Montreal, they signed Shea Patterson today. They're going through Roscoe. If you can throw the ball, Montreal might need you to throw here soon. They're going through quarterbacks like crazy there. Saskatchewan at Edmonton, Ottawa. We still got to go to Ottawa. I forgot about that. So got to haul out there in early October. Beautiful time of the year there, though, if you want to golf. Go get a tour of the Parliament, or they're still fixing it. Get your elbows up. We're playing SaskTel Pick the Score throughout the day. Then we're going to have the Shake the Leg tickets. Or do you just want to do Pick the Score for the first hour, Colson? It's your call. Colson wants to go all day. 936-6262. What is the score? Stamps, Riders, Saturday. A chance to win tickets to the Labor Day game, which is sold out. Hot ticket. Hot on the market. Let us know the score. While you're just sending in a score, let us know, too, what you think about the kicking game with the Riders. Don't forget the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50-50 is on. And this week's early bird prize, trip to Toronto to watch the Blue Jays play hardball. Package for two includes flights, 2 nights accommodations at a downtown hotel near Rogers Center, 2 tickets to 2 Jays games, round trip transfers from the airport to the hotel. Driving in Toronto is the absolute worst. Like I know any big city can be bad. Oh, I got stuck in with the wife. We had like a 6-hour layover, so we went to some bar downtown or by the water that does flights of beer that she likes. And we got stuck in traffic trying to get back to the airport. The cabbie just hated us. If you don't want to go and watch the Blue Jays play, you can just take $3,600 cash. Riders5050.ca. And when we had Tyler Lloyd on from the Rough Rider Foundation, he mentioned it, and I know a lot of people that are doing this. You can go and you're automatically signed up every game, every week. So you don't have to, I got to remember. So you can do that at Riders 50-50. If you want to get into the early bird, though, the deadline is Thursday at 5 p.m. Okay. So pick the score all day. 31-27 we got. What do we got? 36-20, 30-27. There's a few people picking the Stamps out there, too. Oh, before we go to break, we better read this one, Colson. Gary in Winnipeg. When the team is 8-1, why are the fans worried about the field goal kicker? Gary from Winnipeg. There's that side of it. Then there's the other side of it, right? It's like, got to prepare for the rainy day, maybe. I think Brett's going to come out of it. It was windy, too. That's the other thing to keep in mind. That place is really weird when the wind is blowing. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to hear more on the Riders, some news out of the Regina Pats and Antoine Brooks Jr. We're going to talk to him about going from defense to offense, and Jock Wilson on the voice of the Calgary Stampeders, QR77. It's a Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed there on the YouTube channel and hit the like button. And if you can't, you can find us on all the streams coming through Crystal Clear FM. And we're always on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Prairieland Rentals text line is an absolute buzzsaw right now, with people sending in pick the scores and then their advice on what the Riders should do with Lawther. Brennan Mans, friend of the program. How's it going, Brennan, out there? He says, I'm not going to say his score. Keep Lawther for now, but if I'm O'Day, start looking for options that may be available. Dean, send it in. Nothing on Lawther. There's just, I love the guy. There's always every day there's someone that sends in a crazy score, and someone shared it, but you didn't leave your name, number, nothing. So if that crazy score happens to come in, we have no way to get a hold of you. You know who you are out there. Tamara out in Calgary, always listening to the show. Thanks, Tamara. She's going to the game Saturday. First row behind the Rider bench. Let's get loud. Go Riders. That should be a good first row behind a bench. That's always an interesting seat. And I've never been to McMahon, but it's always great because you can kind of see what's going on and all that. But seeing the field sometimes stinks. So hopefully you got a good sight line there, Tamara, on Saturday. We'll get to Antoine Brooks Jr. here in a second. I got to mention this today. The Regina Pats, they're going to honor their hometown with a new season theme. Blue Runs Deep is the new theme. They had a little press conference today. They're getting excited for the season. The other thing, the excitement around the Regina Pats, no secret, Maddox Schultz, the exception player from Regina, will play 34 games for the Regina Pats somehow, some way. And then now Liam Pugh, the third-round pick, which we've been talking about here on the Cage for...
third overall, not third round.
Yeah, third overall, sorry. Since the draft happened, we've been saying, well, just makes sense. He's going to play for the Regina Pat Canadians. Get a nice little billet in Regina. When Maddox was here, we said, "Mate, you got like bunk beds? Can you guys do the Step Brothers thing?" But Liam Pugh is going to be playing for the Regina Pat Canadians too, playing 34 games for the Pats. I got a message today from a parent. 2 messages. One's a parent of an athlete that plays in the AAA league, and basically was like, "How is this even fair?" Pissed off. Well, it is. Nothing shady has been done.
Yeah.
In this. Pat's lucked out. Al Miller makes a heck of a move, third overall, grabbing Pugh. Ryan Hodgins, Reynoldson, everyone involved. Pat Polinsky. Who else? Who am I missing there with the Pat Canadians? How lucky are they? You got Schultz and Pugh playing AAA hockey. Chase Serkan makes the Brandon Wee Kings. If he could be back too. Get season tickets for the Regina Pat Canadians right now. I don't even know if they sell them. Send text messages and find a way to get them. C6 will be off the charts. And there will be some tough games, and teams are going to want to play them tough. That's going to be good. They're going to go to the Max tournament. When we start talking to Eric Francis again, he's going to be so excited. Yeah, they're going to be a good hockey team. And then the Pats will get some of the spill off. Hopefully the Pats get into the playoffs this year. That's what we need. They'll still be young and scrappy. Let's get into the playoffs. So yeah, new little slogan for the Regina Pats this year?
They don't even have the next season out for the Pat Canadians yet, so I don't think they have tickets yet.
No. There's a marketing idea for them. Get in front of it. Early bird prices for Regina Pat Canadians hockey. They gotta up the prices a bit because you got to pay to use the sound system in C6, which is the dumbest thing in the history of any city or town that I've heard of in the last 10 years.
Yeah, you have to pay to use the scoreboard in the Brand Center too, though. It's the same kind of thing.
That's because Brant owns it.
Correct, which is probably the same way as the sound system in C6.
Then I want to know who owns the speakers in C6 in Regina. We can go off on this for a long time. I think it's, do I got to pay to use a sound system at one of the swimming pools? No. You don't have to use it in any of the other rinks. It irks me. Makes me mad. Let's get back to the football talk here. Jock Wilson is coming up from the Calgary Stampeders broadcast team. It is a SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome back to the SportsCage on this Tuesday for Saskatchewan Lotteries, the main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in Saskatchewan. We're still a few days away from the Riders and Stamps in Calgary. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, all the Greek favorites you love. Check out what the pickup special or dine-in special is at the Western Pizza near you today. Jock Wilson joining us from QR77 in Calgary. He's been on the show before. He's the pre- and post-game host for the Stamp games. Jock, let's start with injuries. What do we know about the Stamps after the bye week? And I think that's one of the things people in Sasky are always wondering about at our Riders. But what can you tell us about the Stamps? What do you know?
Hey, the Peters are getting a little healthier, Barney. That's the good news. Damien Elf was taking team reps with the Stampeder offense today, and I think Rider fans remember the move back on July the 11th when he broke loose, for a couple of touchdown catches, including an 81-yard touch. The interesting thing with the Moose, though, is he basically got that wideout spot because Clark Barnes went down with an injury. The Calgary Stampeders feel more comfortable with Clark Barnes because he is a more complete player. He is a guy that runs some of the best routes, for this football club. So where do we slot in Damien Alford if he is good to go against the Riders this weekend? Well, there were a couple of injuries, at camp today. Dom's on the inside. He's dealing with a little bit of a ding. He didn't practice today. And no Tevin Jones as well. Tevin Jones dealing with a little bit of an illness, so he might be okay come game time. So that's the story on the off ball, as Stampeders are getting healthy coming off the bye week. Still no Adrian Green, Derry. He didn't take any reps today, so that seems to be the biggest concern. But hey, the Calgary Stampeders, they're coming off a win over the Blue Bombers, their third straight win over the Bombers. They're coming off a bye week. I would say this is almost the healthiest they have been all season long. Don't think you can use injury excuse because this team is pretty healthy right now.
Okay, so we can go on the record then and say Jock Wilson says that Damien Alford is up for trade because they don't need him in Calgary.
I'm not sure I would go that far, but I would say this: let's enjoy him while he's in the Canadian Football League. I think it could be just like Joe, with Saskatchewan last year. This guy has this guy has the speed. He's got the wingspan, and hey, is he going to be a long-term CFL player, or is he going to follow the NFL dream next season or the year after that? I don't know. So right now, I just tell Stampeder fans, let's enjoy him because he is a very, very dynamic player. And it's interesting. Barney, everybody asked me about the Calgary Stampeders, how they've turned things around this season. And the way they've turned things around is Dave Dickinson has said it, that they hit on everything they did in the off season. They hit on their needs with Vernon Adams and Flo Ormalade. They hit on their free agent signings and Damon Webb, Derek Moncrief, Adrian Green, Miles Brown, Tevin Jones, Dominic Rhymes. They hit in the CFL draft because not only, is Damien Alford lighting it up, but you got Chris Fortin, who is a rookie center, taking pretty well every snap with the injury to Bryce Bell. And, you've got your short yardage quarterback. You're not missing, Tommy Stevens, because Quincy Vaughn has been so good in that short yardage situation. So I tell you what, give the organization credit. They hit on a lot of their coaches, Bob Slowick, the defensive coordinator. So right now there's some excitement in this city, and that's not a bad thing.
And that's not easy to do. So what they did is commendable. There's no doubt about it. The Stampeders will need to do blank to win the game on Saturday.
It's a great question. The one stat that I look at, and I get it, stats are for losers, but the one stat I look at, 3, 12, and do you know what that stat is?
You cut out there.
3, 12, and 2 is Trevor Harris's record against the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah, because talked with the last time we talked, it was Stampede.
Yes.
We talked a little Stampede. You mentioned that stat, and then you just mentioned the Stamps against the Riders in general, right?
Well, it's at Mosaic Stadium, the Stampeders have had nothing but success.
Yeah.
A little bit different here in Calgary, but that's a really interesting stat. Trevor Harris, hey, right now he's the best quarterback in the West. You can make a case he's the best quarterback in the Canadian Football League, probably the early odds-on favorite to win the Most Outstanding Player award, but that's really weird that he has such a terrible record against the Calgary Stampeders. And so Vernon Adams, he likes Saskatchewan. He had a 400-yard passing game, back in July. And, he had his longest touchdown pass, in his career. That was that 81-yarder by the Moose. So here's the deal, Barney. This is going to be a hell of a game. Both of these teams are really good. Both of these teams have excellences. If you're a winner, I have no idea. I just hope it's going to be a burner because the fans expect, and I hope the fans get it.
Where's Adam Bighill fitting in there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. He was getting close, and then he came down with the flu bug. I think what they're being very cautious with Adam Bighill. And I say that is because they don't want to mix up too much on defense. Defense has been very, very good. Markel Lee was supposed to be, Mike linebacker this year. He got early, so they went out and they signed Adam Bighill. They signed Kyle Wilson. Micah Tights has been, pretty good though on the in that Mike position. So I don't position to rush him back. We'll watch him a little closer this week, and I'm thinking probably Labor Day. If you're asking me, to pin a spot for Adam Bighill, that would be my guess at this point.
You talked about the hype a little bit in Calgary around the team, which is definitely needed everywhere in the CFL. But what kind of crowd are you expecting? Because obviously a lot of Saskatchewan people in Calgary. You can't really go 4 or 5 feet there. What are you expecting for a crowd?
It'll be a freaking Christmas tree again. You know the drill. Lots of red, lots of green. It's that's usually the case. The Stampede Bowl was the hottest ticket at the beginning of the season, but now with the Riders being 8-1, the Riders are the team to beat. The Stamps have already beat them once. There is some good excitement in the city right now. So I'll be disappointed. They've been average 21,000 this year. So I would be disappointed if they don't get about 25. And it looks like the weather is going to be fantastic. So, are we ever going to see McMahon Stadium packed again? Probably not. It's the barn is just not very pretty, and it's not a great atmosphere in there. But hey, the Riders there'll be some water mashing going on this weekend, and let's have some fun.
What's your take on the West in general? Now because we got BC looking like they could be a player and maybe going east. Who knows? What the West is obviously the cream right now. But what do you make of things?
And that makes this more important for the Calgary Stampeders, because if you look at the teams chasing the Stampeders, I think they got automatic wins this weekend because the East is so crappy. And, all of a sudden you've got BC at 5 wins. You've got Winnipeg at 5 wins. Edmonton, if they win this weekend, they'll be at 4 wins. So realistically, I think, there's more heat on the Calgary Stampeders. Obviously the Riders have a little bit of a cushion. The West is pretty good. And, never count out. You guys know you'll have your Labor Day series coming up against. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. The Stamps will have their Labor Day series against Edmonton. That's going to be interesting. Stampeders have what? They have 9 left. They have 3. They haven't played Edmonton yet. They haven't played BC yet this year. And then they've got this game against you, and then the other 3 games are against the Eastern opponents. And the other interesting thing for the Stampeders is they play 4 of their final 5 games on the road. So make your hay when you can, because the Stampeders want to be a dominant team at home. And boy, they came this close to being 100 in that Winnipeg game, because they could have lost that game very, very easily. And right now they're 3-2 at home. So they want to set the tone here at McMahon Stadium, without a doubt.
It's going to be a good one. If I do make the last-minute trip, any tips on the tailgate? Because it's something, so foreign here in Saskatchewan, because it's like, oh, no, we can't tailgate. Any tips if I'm tailgating in Calgary?
You know what? Just have fun, because there are so many parties out there, Barney. You can't have a bad time at the tailgate,
good.
especially if the sun is shining. And hey, it's there's just so many of them. Labor Day is usually the biggest one, but the Rider game on Saturday afternoon, 5:00 start. I love a 5:00 start Saturday afternoon. I think it's great for tail. It's great for Stamps House after the game. So realistically, just bring some good food, bring some booze, and let's fun.
And I've been known to try my luck at the Cowboys Casino after, so it all wraps up nicely. Thanks so much for doing this, Jock. Looking forward to the game, and then we'll catch up again for sure.
Remember, 3, 12, and 2. Interesting stat.
They're printing the T-shirts, I heard, right now, and somewhere in downtown Calgary. Right on, man. Have a good one.
Take care.
Right on. That's Jock Wilson from QR77. Pre- and post-game show. Stamps Riders coming up on Saturday. It's going to be dandy. And the weather, right? The weather looks nice because of the last time we know what happened with the smoke here, and then they had to play it the next day. So I know a lot of you are making the trip out to Calgary. Let us know on the Prairie Land Rentals text line 936-6262. Let us know if you got any tailgate tips in case I do make that last-minute trip. It's a Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com. And we're always on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Riders back on the practice field today. Mario Alford was back fielding punts. The other news, it's Antoine Brooks Jr. moving from defense to offense to have a look there. The Riders have also signed American defensive back Benny Sapp III, 6'1", 205 pounds. Had a stint with the Green Bay Packers in 2023. Montreal has signed Shea Patterson. They're dismal at the quarterback position right now. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays back in Pittsburgh tonight. They lost last night. NHL news, Sergei Fedorov number is going to be retired by the Red Wings. And in the NFL, the Browns have named old man Joe Flacco their starting QB. And the Colts are going to be going with Daniel Jones. Sports Ticker in Hour 1 is for Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals, keeping you in hot and soft water. Now back to the Antoine Brooks Jr. moving from defense to offense. We told you we're going to hear from him. Here's Antoine with Dave today.
Antoine Brooks Jr.,
What's up, man?
you have traded your white practice jersey for a green practice jersey, emblematic of changing from defense to offense. Tell me about this decision.
Honestly, this decision is just based on the team. Whatever the team needs, if they like me there, if they like me here, I'm just glad I could be a great asset to my team and at least help them, help the quarterback, help anything possible in the way. If I got to block all day, I block. I don't care. I don't even need the ball.
Now, have you ever played running back before? Because you were working with them today.
I honestly gave up my offensive stuff after my injury in high school, so that's really where it ended at. I always was better on offense. If you ask everybody at home, they all happy right now. They all trying to say if he get the ball, you know what he gonna do. Look, at home they know that's where I was born at. Born being a running back, born to being an offensive player. My dad grew me up on just making sure you could do as many things as possible, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to be the person that they could put you anywhere and you be able to succeed.
So who had this conversation? You with the team or the team with you?
Nah, the team with me. Yeah, I just come out here and work hard, man. The scout team reps, it kind of all that stuff kind of matters, especially when the eye in the sky watching. So you never, let up when you down. It doesn't matter where you at. You just work hard, put your head down, and trust me, some blessings will come.
Well, it looked like it came pretty natural. Your footwork looked sensational right off the start. How did you feel?
And it felt good. It felt good. A little more extra work, and I love it. than DB, because DB, we gotta be patient with our feet. We gotta slow down everything, and even process what's going on in front of us. At running back. I always had footwork, growing up. Footwork was probably my favorite thing to do anyway. Footwork and a little bit of strides, that's it. But, I always did the ladders, always did footwork and stuff. And honestly, half of that stuff is kind of natural. But I honestly worked out all this when I was a kid. I used to work out tremendous all the time about my conditioning, honestly, is offensive stuff ever since I've been to college. So since I played college football, I played defense. And I just, for some reason, running routes and running running back routes and stuff like that is just more tiring than just backpedaling and running. You know what I'm saying? So me running routes and then lining back up, running routes again, lining back up. That was always my conditioning. So I kind of already knew, I kind of got the natural ability to be a natural guy on offense, honestly. So I always worked out. I always made sure I was okay and clean. And honestly, I know what a DB wants or a defender wants. So it's just a lot of things that can help.
Tell me about diving into the playbook, then. It's an entirely different side.
Yeah, diving in the playbook was a little difficulty, but honestly, when you got teammates that care for the game and care for you, they'll make sure that you're okay and make sure that you get to play and do the right thing.
What do you need to do then to go ahead and prove that this is where you fit?
Honestly, just make sure I work hard, make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, and make sure I'm aligned right, and making sure that my quarterback don't get touched. That's my favorite. That's going to be my key thing this week or period, honestly, when I'm at running back, making sure my quarterback don't get touched under my condition.
Hour 2 of the show. Thanks for sticking around or tuning in or being here or watching on YouTube through the SportsCage.com. Maybe you're tuning into the apps. I know a lot of you out there are getting the crop off. Ladies and gentlemen, just some of the text messages, I can tell. That's another thing. We want to know. If you're out there farming, harvesting, let us know where you're at. We're playing SaskTel Pick the Score on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 936-6262. Pick the score and then let us know what you think about the Riders' current kicking situation. That's where a lot of people are going here. Some really, really... I would say, if I had to guess, 70%, it's let's let them work it out. David just said, and let's keep in mind it was really windy on Saturday. So keep them coming. Let us know. We're also going to give away Shake the Lake tickets if you want to get your rock on this Friday and Saturday here at the Connexus in Regina. It's an all-Canadian lineup. Get those elbows up. Tickets go up on Thursday. So if you're going to buy some, buy them now. They go up a smidge on Thursday. And you've got Friday night, Helix. I know a lot of you out there are big Helix fans. Finger 11. You know that Finger 11's original name, Colson, was the Rainbow Butt Monkeys. And then they went to Finger 11 in the 90s.
I don't even know who Finger 11 is, let alone the original name.
Okay, tomorrow you got to go all day. You got to listen. All you got to listen to is Finger 11, and then Default on Friday, which I said I'm a massive fan of. And Saturday you can get the Stampeders at 5:45, Trooper, the Headstones, the Kings, Men Without Shame. It's a good event. Shake the Lake. Tickets still available, but they go up on Thursday. We're going to have 2 to give away at some point in the show today. And then in about 20 minutes, it's Pump Jacks Cathedral trivia time for $50 at Pump Jacks. You're going to have to call in for that one. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with the Calgary Stampeders. There it is. Let's get things going. Keep it going with Arash Madani.
It's time to go coast to coast with Arash Madani for Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Gawley at Smart Investing Solutions, 546-2533.
I got to work with a guy, Arash, that doesn't even know who Finger 11 is. Great Canadiana there, isn't it?
We are getting old, Barney. Our references aren't going over. The boys don't know some of the bands. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. They have an answering machine, a maestro, phones with cords. We lived through that. We battled through that, Arash.
VCRs, typewriters,
There's nothing, there is nothing more gratifying than recording something on VHS and setting the time correctly than getting home later and you did it right.
You did it properly.
My old roommate in Swift Current, I used to work the morning shows, then I'd fall asleep, and I would say, if you hear me sleeping, make sure you record north of 60 for me. I've watched that series from front to back. It's actually very underrated.
So, like, you try and think of some of the references that nobody would ever understand, Barney. How about tracking on the VCR?
Oh, tracking. The tracking knob broke. No, what do we do?
Tracking knob broke. Or, heaven forbid, the power went out when you were trying to record WWF, Superstars on a Saturday afternoon or something like that. You know?
Yeah.
Mayhem.
SAS Power guys, keep your heads up when that was going down. We'll get to CFL in a bit here. We got some Brett Lawther clips I want to run by you as well. We just got in. But let's start with the Blue Jays. And Friday, you get a massive piece added to their mix. But I did a podcast interview that's releasing tomorrow, and I'm going to play some of it on the SportsCage later this week with Andrew Albers, North Battleford, Saskatchewan.
Sure.
And he talked about when he had it and the setback. The setback after setback after setback. I didn't really know because I'm like huge baseball guy, I know of it and all that. What can people expect from a pitcher that's coming off Tommy John?
Yeah, and what we're talking about is Shane Bieber. So the Blue Jays at the deadline, they go and they say to themselves, we continue to come up short in October. We need to go get a legitimate arm. And the arm they come up with is a Cy Young Award winner from the pandemic-shortened season. But Shane Bieber is a legit arm. Issue is he's coming off TJ. And post-Tommy John, he still has not pitched in a big league game. He's pitched in the minors. And Friday night, he's going to go against the Marlins. So it's a good little transition because the Marlins are effectively somewhere between AAA and a big league team. But that's the question, Barney. The question is, when Bieber's healthy, he's got the stuff, he's elite, he's legit, all of those things. What Andrew Albers talks about is real. And what happened to Andrew is going to be different than what happens to Barney. It's going to be different medically than what happens with Shane, how they bounce back, all those kinds of things. So it's not just that Friday is an important start. It's how is he going to come out of that and feeling on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday? How will he rebound for his second start and his third start? Because we're talking about less than 6 weeks away from the playoffs starting. And the Jays need to know quickly what they have and whether or not he will or won't be in the postseason mix.
I always love if the postseason started today questions, right? But if they did, let's say, how would the rotation look? Who would be the guy that maybe is not getting in?
Well, the guy right now that to me is on the outside looking in is Jose Barrios. And we're talking about a former opening day starter, somebody they gave a pile of money to. He just hasn't performed the last 3 or 4 starts. And so what do you do with Barrios? If you're able to avoid the wild card round, you just, move Jose into the bullpen, have him in a long role if you need to. Is that the play? The question too, Barney, here is what about Max Scherzer? Scherzer starts tonight. He's had thumb issues. He went away for a while. He's come back. His last couple of starts, Mad Max at age 42, 43, is finally looking like the Scherzer of old. The question is, for how long? And is that thumb, is the age, is all of this a ticking time bomb? Or can he be relied upon? And that is going to answer itself between now and the end of next month.
Okay, it was played everywhere. I was actually at the dentist today. So when you go to the dentist and they have the TV up, you can't really hear anything. And I'm watching because I didn't watch the Jays game last night with Pittsburgh and the loss. But I'm sitting there watching and I'm like, what's going on here? So what happened in the game between Tommy Pham of Pittsburgh and the Jays catcher?
So Pham is up to bat. Tyler Heineman's the backup catcher for the Jays. And Pham ends up walking. And after ball 4, he gives a bit of a bat flip, and then he stops, turns around, and he and Heineman get into it. And Heineman's like, I had nothing to say to him. But what Pham said was that, Heineman was, after ball 3, had something to say about that pitch. And then the dugout's empty and everybody says, my dad's better than your dad. And then nothing really comes of it. Well, it didn't in the moment. And George Springer, a vet, goes over to Tommy Pham to calm him down. Pham's been on 7 or 8 different big league teams. But then Keegan Matheson, who covers the Blue Jays for MLB.com, posts a tweet, basically Heineman saying, news to me, whatever. I didn't say a word. You're probably as confused as I am, blah, blah, blah. And Tommy Pham responds to Keegan's line saying, bitching about a call not being called a strike to the umpire when it's clearly below the zone is disrespectful, not only the umpire, but the hitter as well. So like I said, when I flip the bat, F him. Dude has 2 years in the show. I know the zone. Now, Keegan went back to Tommy Pham, Barney, this afternoon to try and get any kind of comment from him. And Pham wasn't going down that road. He just said, look, let him know I speak in facts. I was hoping for some fireworks tonight. The issue is Tommy Pham, lifetime, 3 for 26 against Max Scherzer. So when you got a lifetime average of $115, you're not in the lineup. So Pittsburgh's sitting, and maybe this just all goes away.
I think this should just let Pham and Heineman's dads fight. That's what should happen. Okay, let's go to the CFL.
Yep.
What's Arash Madani think about the kicking situation in Saskatchewan? They're about 66% here. Very windy day on Saturday again. Some people piling on. Most of the people that we're getting the text messages here are saying, just stick with them. I'm kind of on the fence right now, and I know Brett, great guy. Where do you stand? What do you think?
Well, I'm always going to stand up for a guy from Truro, Nova Scotia.
True.
And I'm always going to stand up for a vet in a kicking situation, especially in that market, not because of the pressure and the noise, whatever, but because of the understanding of the conditions. And I go back, not to age myself too much, but Troy Westwood always talked about in that old Winnipeg Stadium, knowing how the winds work and when to line drive it, when to put something under it. Now, do I think Brett's going through it right now? Yes. Do I think it's a case of the yips? No. Do I think he's lost his confidence? Only Brett really knows that. Am I concerned? No. Do I think he's going to figure it out? Yes. You cannot legitimately evaluate the game the other day. It felt like you were watching a video game car game where it's just kind of weaving in and out of traffic. The wind was just nuts.
RC Pro-Am.
RC Pro-Am. Barney, remind me, what's the Riders' record?
8 wins, 1 lost because of smoke, and they had to play the next day.
Right. It's all going to be okay. I promise. I get we're all looking for reasons to worry and reasons to wonder. If Brett Lawther was in year 1 or 2 or 3, I'd have real concern. A pro and a vet who's been through it, I think he'll figure it out.
The best part is, though, if we do have reason to worry, Barney said he'd grow a mustache if they lost 5 games, like 2013.
If they lose 5 games in a row, I'm growing a stash.
So we got something to look forward to, even if they are losing.
So Barney's going to do a Movember in October?
When you're here next week, remind me to show you a picture of when I had a legit stash.
One of the best Chris Cuthbert lines of all time, speaking of which, when Winston October was a kick returner for Edmonton back in the day, I remember October was taking a kick back in a Grey Cup for a touchdown. And Cuthbert's line was, "It's October in November." Very good. You're gonna do the Movember in October.
I'll do it in September. But okay, let's hear from Brett Lawther here, because we have some audio now. We can listen to it all together. Asked about his rough start to the season.
Not much I can say to add to it. Just hasn't been up to the standard that we have and everyone else is playing at. And yeah, just back to chopping wood and trying to figure it out.
So then this one, I haven't heard these either. I haven't proofed them. Can he pinpoint what has been the problem?
If it was something I knew to fix, I would have fixed it a while ago. Yeah, I don't think it's one thing right now. It's just a ton of different little things, and like I said, it's just not good enough, and that's just kind of period after that.
We got to put ourselves in that guy's shoes a little bit, right? And I think anybody out there and people that message, and we've talked about it, you equate it to golfing. If anybody's ever teed up a ball on a tight hole with sand or woods on one side, woods on the other, or water or whatever it is, and you're not feeling it and you're not swinging it well, it's like, Jesus, take the wheel.
Well, and then add tornado style winds to the mix.
Tornado style winds. Yeah.
This is, look, and I don't want to sound like a broken record. I find with kickers, if you're a young guy, this can rattle you and it can derail you. If you're a vet, you've been through it, you've been in big pressure situations, et cetera, over the years, you'll find a way and you'll figure it out. Because you've had to, at some point along the way, be it in practice, be it in the off season, be it when nobody's watching. So yeah, I think I'm standing with Brett Lawther.
Okay, this might make your day. Here is the post-game show on Rider Radio on the weekend.
Oh, baby.
And this beauty with Justin Dunk. Listen to this.
Who do you want to bring in at kicker? You're talking about Brett Lawther, that he's not championship caliber in your opinion. So who is your solution at kicker?
Justin Tucker.
That ain't it, bro. That ain't happening. I said a realistic solution, okay?
I knew that would get you. You gotta love it. You gotta love
Dunk. I love Dunk, and I admire him for just staying even keeled through that, because that's when you get sent to HR on Monday morning, Barney, because at that point you just grab the chair and you just start smashing it in the studio. Like, how am I supposed to win with you? Justin Tucker.
Hey, Justin, Jeremy O'Day here up in Regina, Saskatchewan.
I got $6,000 a week, a furnished 1-bedroom apartment.
It's a studio.
Okay, studio. And some gift cards to Boston Pizza.
Western Pizza.
Hey,
next we're only a week away from you being in the studio. I was almost thinking we should do the show from Western Pizza, from Spiro's location.
Ooh.
I don't. Let me mull that over in the old dome here. Okay, but that's it for.
By the way, this is how committed I am to making the show next Wednesday. Like, I'm coming regardless. Air Canada's not getting in the way. You know what I mean? But so I'm going to take if Air Canada doesn't figure its bleep out by next Wednesday, I am on a 6 a.m. out of Toronto, connecting in Winnipeg to make sure I'm there in time for the SportsCage on Western.
Commitment.
Yes.
Gotta love it. Keep me updated on those travel plans.
Let's do the show from Western Pizza, damn it.
We could meet, and we could do the show from Silver Heights in Winnipeg.
if the connector gets canceled, we may have to.
Awesome, buddy. Okay, we'll talk to you Thursday.
All right, see you.
See you later. Coast to Coast with Arash Madani for Brian Golly, Smart Investing Solutions. Be smart with your money. Call Brian Golly. Arash is making the commitment. Gotta love it. Okay, so what do we have? We're going to go Clutch Performer, but people start getting ready to call 936-6262, because when we come back after Clutch Performer, we're going to play trivia for Pump Jacks Cathedral here in Regina. Live music every weekend. Kids are allowed until 8. Great place before and after a Rider game, located at Albert and 13th. So if you think you up to snuff on the Calgary Stampeders, and you want to win $50, buy yourself whatever you want at Pump Jacks Cathedral, you should start calling now. 936-6262. It is a sports cage on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Okay, we're trying to get the video up on this. And the clutch performer. If you're watching the stream, efforting. Say, okay, did anyone see this? This was going around social media. Something fierce on the weekend. The German Shopping Cart Archery Championship. If you didn't see it, it's in Germany, obviously. And it's, I think it was two ladies going at it. And it's a studio. It's like really legit. And at first I didn't know what the heck you're watching because this lady's like, she's got a shopping cart. And it's basically ghost riding, if y'all know what that is, a shopping cart to try and put it into the corral. I'm trying to get the winner's name, but talk about, you have it? Okay, if you're watching the stream, did you see this? And if I'm just...
Richtig gut sogar.
Aber kerzengerade wie beim Aldi.
Yeah, whatever she said. Is that trash talking to the other lady?
Man merkt, wir sind ein richtiger Haus.
So it's Carmen versus Claudia. Claudia did her hair for this. Here she goes. Eyeing it up. Come on, Claudia. So there's a corral, and if you're listening on radio, shopping cart, and there she pushes it towards the corral. It's unbelievable. So what is this guy all about? Is this guy a judge? That's God, that's clutch. When you think that roof ball could have been the craziest thing that we've watched and talked about on the sports cage, it's also now we got shopping cart archery. You gotta love it. Colson, you can kill the audio here on this. Unless I'm sure there's some people listening out there that know German that are actually know what the play-by-play was about all that, but that's just unreal. Of course, clutch performers for Nick Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. Oh, shopping cart archery. We got to do a sports. If we ever win the lottery, sports cage Olympics, roof ball, shopping cart archery, and then where they do the MMA in a vehicle. You get guys to do that too. Okay, Pump Jacks trivia time, 936-6262. We do have some callers. Let's go, Colson.
It's time for Sports Cage Trivia for Pump Jacks. Great food, cold local draft, and a place that feels like home.
All right, I think we got Rob on the line. He's driving to Saskatoon. Rob, is that correct?
You betcha.
Whereabouts?
We're actually going to the game in Calgary. So Saskatoon, pick up some family, and then going to Calgary.
Ooh, so you got to drive that number 7 from Saskatoon to Calgary. You be safe. That highway.
I will. I promise.
That highway's dicey, my man. All right, let's get into it. Okay, we're playing for $50 at Pump Jacks Cathedral, where you can go and buy whatever you want. I heard the beef dip's unreal. I've tried the dry ribs. But you do you, Rob. All right, here's the question. You're going to have 10 seconds to answer it. Colson, you got it ready?
Okay.
Okay. We're going, like I said, Calgary Stampeders. We're asking you, who is the all-time passing leader for the Calgary Stampeders?
Peter Lisk.
Colson? Oh. Most passing yards from the Calgary Stampeders. Peter Lisp. My computer just went down. That's why I'm trying to buy time here.
Isn't it Doug Flutie?
Doug Flutie. Yeah. But gets a free lunch at Pump Jacks passing yards in a season. Doug Flutie. 3 times. 92, 93, 94. That's pretty impressive. All right. Let's move on. We got Joe Robustelli from the Saskatchewan Roughriders coming up right on the program. You got any questions for Joe? 936-6262. It is a SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. It's for Sask Lotteries on Tuesday. Just reading a text message on the Prairie Rentals text line from Brendan. He said that shopping cart game that we just showed, they should host that at the Northgate Safeway. Or we should host it. Oh, that's good. A lot coming in here on the Brett Lauder situation, and the Riders keep it coming. Plain Sass Tall pick the score, 936-6262, and we're going to have Shake the Lake tickets to give away in a bit. Rob, thanks for playing. Drive safe on his way to Calgary to watch the Riders take on the Stamps. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline right now. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings. Joe Robustelli joining us from our Riders here on the Sports Cage. Joe, thanks for making some time on a Tuesday back on the field today. Oh, you're doing the walk and talk. That's what Dave Thomas does. He's a veteran with that move. How's it going, though? A little touchdown last week. Things are feeling good?
I'm doing well, man. Yeah, excited to talk to you guys. And yeah, it felt good to get back in the end zone. Hopefully, gonna do the same thing this week.
I got to throw myself under the bus, and the boys here are talking about it because I was like, the gritty. I'm like, come on, Joe, we got to come up with something original. Was that just at the kind of spur of the moment, or are you always going to gritty it up?
Yeah, I promised one of my really good buddies' little brothers that I'd do it for him, and I happened to score this week when I told him I would. So, I'm a man of my word, and I had to hit it.
I love it. Good on you. Okay, I apologize. I take that back, by the way, too. Hey, did you have what personal goals did you have for yourself going into this season?
This season, just to show that I belonged on the field. I think last year was more kind of develop as a player, learn the game. And, I came to this training camp feeling like, I felt like I was comfortable on the field and that when I was given the opportunity, I was going to be able to get out there and make some plays. And I feel like I'm doing that. The
receiving corps, man, like teams are guessing who the heck's Trevor going to throw to in any given day because there's not one guy, right? Like, let's be honest, Donnie Myers, touchdown Donnie's doing his thing out there, but you guys are all, it's kind of a game of hide and seek for the opponent a bit.
Yeah, definitely. The crazy thing was last year on practice squad, it was me, Dale, Dante, Keyshawn spent a little time on practice squad. So last year, the wide receiver, we had A2 last year. Like last year, our roster was so deep, and this year we pretty much had everybody the same. So we knew, like, if things were to hit the fan, like, or at least I'm sure the GMs knew, like, they were fine. Because, they've seen what we were able to do last year on the practice squad. So they were like, listen, if anything happens, we know we got guys who are going to come up and step and make plays. And that's why they brought us in, and that's what we're going to keep continuing to do.
Is having that veteran like Trevor, is it like having another coach and a coach on the field?
Yeah, definitely. You ask him as many questions as you want, and he's gonna tell you what it is, and it's always going to be the correct thing. And Coach Mueller will always say the same thing. They're two peas in a pod. They're both so dialed in, and what they got going on with this offense is incredible.
What do you see from the Calgary defense this week?
We're thinking they'll probably just throw this. They play what they play, and we just got to play what we play. We think we came out a little slow last time we played them, which is unfortunate, but we're excited to go in there and try and get the job done.
I want to go back to your journey a bit because I love doing this part, right? So it says you're born in Connecticut, which is very close to New York, where you're brought up in Connecticut. But then you do high school in Florida. How does that whole journey go for you?
So we moved from. I was born in Stamford, Connecticut. My mom and dad, both families were there. That's where they met, and we moved to Sarasota, Florida, when I was 7 years old. So I was still extremely young. I think I was in second grade, was the first grade that I attended. So I basically grew up in Florida. So that's home for me.
And so you play ball, you play high school ball, but then after high school, things don't really work out. And you're a big flag football player, I heard too, though.
So yeah. So what happened is. I grew up playing football, played football, like flag football, everything when I was a little kid, played a little bit of tackle football in Connecticut, moved here, played moved to Sarasota, played some Pop Warner football. And my freshman year of high school, I did play tackle football, but that was the last year that I played I was 14 years old at the time, and I remember talking to my dad about it. And I was 4'11". I was really small. I wasn't really playing. I was used to be one of the better players on my teams, but my growth was stunted for whatever reason, and I was extremely small. I wasn't playing, so I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to hang up the cleats. And he was like, listen, I promise you, this is going to be one of the biggest regrets of your life. And like being a dad, I'm sure that probably killed him. But he was right. He was definitely right, because I took the 12 years off, and if I would have been playing throughout high school, who knows where I'd be right now. Obviously, extremely blessed to be where I am right now. Super happy with where I am. But, took those 12 years off, which is wild.
I love it. But you play flag competitively in those years?
So when I moved home from college, I didn't do too well my first time in college. I moved home, and
that's all right. We've all been there.
Yeah. It's not where you start; it's where you finish, man. You get that first little taste of freedom, and you start going wild. But so I moved home, and decided I really want to give football a chance. So I started playing just like smaller league flag football, and there were people there who played on travel teams and stuff like that, and they would all start recruiting me like, hey, you should come play for me. And then I go to a tournament, and another team who was maybe a little bit better, like, you should come play for us. And then ultimately I ended up getting an invitation to go try out for the U.S. national flag football team, and so the way that it works is they have, I think it's like a 16-man roster, and then they have 2 training camps, and then it's like 9 or 10 that they take from the 16 that are on the active roster, and then they have 6 reserves. But before I could even, go through and do the actual training camps after I had made the original team, that's when I made the decision and I also had found out that I had some eligibility to go play at a D2 level. And so I made the decision to go play some tackle football to pursue my dream in tackle football.
Flag football, though, I love it. It's huge in Regina. I coach it, got kids that play. It is such a different game. What's your take on when this thing does get to the Olympics? I say there's under 5 players on the U.S. team that are NFL players, because it's so different. The skill's so different. You got the 2 quarterback systems going and all that. What do you think's going to happen?
I mean, we'll see. I think anybody who wants to go and try out, I think if they're playing in the NFL or whatever, if they have the credentials and they want to go, and I think they should get an invitation to go see how it is. But I'll let them know first-handedly. I was shocked. The way that the people have been doing it for a while, like Hoosh and all those guys, they're talented, man. Like, they're extremely talented. The way they can dip their hips and move around, and there's so many different intricacies of the game that like people don't really understand. So I think they'll definitely be surprised. Like people are giving them a lot of hate. I get it, but you guys got to go see what it is before.
It's unbelievable. The female, male, it doesn't matter. And you watch it, you can pick up different plays and all that. What do you guys have what was the one crazy trick play that you guys maybe ran Team USA style?
Well, so I was only there for 3 days. I had only done the one training camp, so they didn't really go into depth with the playbook and stuff like that. It was kind of just pick teams. We had a little combine and stuff like that. So there weren't really too many trick plays, but I was talking to some of the guys on the team today, some of my rider teammates, and I was telling them how it's basically like a 2 quarterback system where one quarterback will drop back, they'll throw it across the field to another quarterback, and they were like, that doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, it's a completely different game. And what they do is extremely impressive. You see some of the highlights of them evading flags and tackles, and the way their like knees are half an inch off the ground. It's impressive, man. Very impressive.
That dip drill, I try to run that with the kids, and then I try and do it, and I'm like, oh, I think I just pulled something. This ain't good. No, and I'm not even joking. That's a true story. But yeah, the 2 quarterback thing, like the Americans run the 2 quarterback like crazy. Canada, like when Mason Nias was slinging it, and then I think it was Italy, like they got the one guy that stands back. Then Japan runs something different, and Mexico. I love it. I can't wait till people are exposed to it and how exciting the game is. Who's your NFL team?
My NFL team, New York Giants, man. My grandfather played for them. I don't know if you know about him. He's actually in the NFL Hall of Fame. So I grew up. I was a diehard Giants fan. Still am a diehard Giants fan. My dad is from a family of 9 kids. So my grandfather who played had 9 kids. So we have a massive Italian family who are all diehard Giants fans. So we love them.
So who's starting a quarterback for the Giants this year? Who do you think they should start?
I think they're going to start Russ. I think he'll get the start of the job, and preseason training camp, he seems like he's doing a good job. So we'll see, But I think Jackson Dart is definitely up and coming. He's a great athlete. Jameis Winston is a great backup to have. So they've definitely filled in that quarterback room with some good pieces.
The Italian in you, I thought for sure you're going to say Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito, this right here.
Awesome.
No, we loved him. No, don't get me wrong. We love Tommy DeVito, but.
Yeah, that would be so cool. Like such a local feel to it. Joe, thanks so much for doing this today, man. What's the next touchdown dance though? Can we get you anything? Can you do something like
that's for you guys to find out when I score.
Ooh, there it is. It is. Right, good luck. Good luck this weekend, man.
I appreciate you guys. You have a good one.
Thanks. Rider receiver Joe Robustelli join us here on the Western Pizza guest hotline. There we go. Yesterday, if you're listening to the show. See, threw myself under the bus, egg on my face. I apologized. I was like, the gritty, but he did it for his friend's son. That's really cool. It's a Sports Cage. We're getting up to the top of the hour here. We've still got more. The boys are funny here if you're watching the stream, eh? We're streaming at sportscage.com through YouTube. Thanks to everyone who subscribed to that and watching along with us. And, of course, we're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. Green and white back on the practice field today. Mario Alford was fielding punts. That's good news. Trevor Harris, he says they're looking for a redemption against Calgary this week.
Yeah, very much so. But, it's the next game on the list, and that's really where our focus is going to be, is making ourselves the best team we can possibly become this week and tee it up on Saturday against Calgary, who's a great team this year, and we're excited about the challenge, and it'll be a fun one, and one of those ones where you probably circled this one as the season's gone on. Maybe not before the season. A lot of people didn't think Calgary's going to be very good, but they've proven everybody wrong, and they're a top team and a Grey Cup contender, and so it's going to be a fun one.
It was also interesting today as Antoine Brooks Jr. took some reps on offense for the Riders as well. They signed American defensive back Benny Sapp III, 6'1", 205-pound defender, played 5 regular season games with Green Bay in 2023. How about Montreal? They signed Shea Patterson. They need quarterbacks there. 28-year-old, made 7 starts over 2 seasons with the Riders. 5 interceptions last year in 2024. Major League Baseball, Blue Jays, Pittsburgh lost last night. Back in Pittsburgh today. They committed 13 errors since August 1st. 3rd worst in the league. NHL news, Sergei Fedorov having his number retired by the Detroit Red Wings. NFL, Browns have named Joe Flacco the starting quarterback. Colts are going with Daniel Jones. Good luck, Colts fans. Don't forget to sign up for the latest news from Riderville with the Sports Cage Insider Report. Sign up today by clicking Insider Report at sportscage.com. You have a chance to win tickets as well. That sports ticker is for Extreme Hockey and Sport, where they have the price match guarantee now. If you find a better price and you're into shopping local, go in there. They'll match that price. They also have the new Bauer Flylight gear in as well. Extreme Hockey and Sport in Regina. We got Pick the Score. We got people commenting Pick the Score on Lather. Keep them coming, 936-6262. Hour 3, we're going to give away 2 tickets to Shake the Lake. Maybe we'll see you there on Friday. That's tough, though. Friday, default, and then maybe drive to Calgary. That's going to be a tough one. So a lot coming up in Hour 3. Let's go to Brian Raymond right now from Flowing Springs Golf Course. And Brian, I tell you, my son slept in today. Didn't set his alarm, missed his tee time. It was a beauty day to golf. Looks like we got some nice golfing weather here.
Absolutely. The next couple of days look like they're going to be okay. We're loving these warm temperatures. I should say that a few people have complained, but you know what? People spend thousands of dollars in January to go someplace to experience this very weather.
That's a good point. Now, what time can people play till at night when they're go through the specials, and then kind of what time people need to tee off if they want to get in 18 or 9?
To get 18 holes in, now you probably have to tee off before 4 o'clock because it's getting dark. The sun's down now, I think, about 5 after 8. So it's pretty dark by 8:30. I don't think you need to sit to see the golf ball at that stage. And certainly you can get 9 holes in. Our late twilight is still starting at 6 o'clock, but we'll be changing that shortly to allow people to at least get 9 holes in for the $22. And that 3 o'clock special, the early twilight, is only $38, so that makes it really, really inexpensive to play. And speaking of that, Monday Mondays and Wednesdays, ladies and seniors, it's only $39. We still have people coming out and discovering that price and thinking it's marvelous, and it is. So, that's a great deal. And if you only want to play 9 holes, give us a call. We can get you on the golf course.
So tomorrow, you can go golf if you're a senior or a lady for $39.
That's correct.
What constitutes a senior?
60.
Oh, okay. I'm a little ways away. And the riders are doing well, Brian. And I know Labor Day coming up here too. Bring your sticks when you're coming into town.
You know what? Labor Day is always a big day for us because a lot of folks coming in, we get people here from Winnipeg that come and play every year just to take advantage of it because it is on Saturday, and they usually make a weekend of it. So, yeah, for sure. If you want to book it, we book 7 days in advance at Flowing Springs. We've never talked about that. We always book 7 days in advance.
7 days in advance. There you go. And if you're listening to this, I know we got a lot of Manitoba listeners. If you're coming in, please no jean shirts and shirtless golf. We like to keep things on the up and up at Flowing Springs, but you can't beat the prices, Brian. Thanks for doing this. How do people book again?
Give us a call at area code 306-543-5050, and you can book online at flowingspringsgolf.com.
We'll talk to you Thursday.
You bet.
Right on. Brian Raymond, Flowing Springs. Cheapest golf around. And what a night to golf today. Oh, get out there. Play 9 if you can. Hour 3 of the show, like I said, we're going to give away Shake the Lake tickets. We're going to continue to play Pick the Score. We got tickets to the Canada Men's National Baseball Championship coming up August 21st to 24th at Curry Field, hosted by the Regina Trappers. And we got Glen Suitor, and we're also going to hear more from the Riders. It is the Sports Cage, streaming through our YouTube channel at sportscage.com. We're on the app, and of course, always on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM. One more hour of the Cage here. Glen Suitor coming up in a bit. We're also going to hear, if you haven't heard, Antoine Brooks Jr. moving from defense to offense. You hear from the Rider on that in a little bit. We're playing SaskTel Pick the Score, 936-6262. What do you think the score is Saturday? Let us know. Leave some comments on what you feel about the Riders going into this one. You got a chance to win tickets to the Labor Day game. Then the closest two gets a $200 SaskTel gift card. Prairieland Rentals text line's off the hooks. Trisha just messaged Dan Colson. I don't know if you saw this one. Driving home from work on Vic. Blue Bombers have a billboard saying, "Friends don't let friends wear green." Asked if we've seen it yet. She tried to get a pic, but she's driving. Good heads up there. Not bad. Cheeky. I love that word phrase. By the Bombers, but I love it. Now, Riders, you're up. What are we going to put? What are we going to put in Winnipeg next week? Friends don't let friends wear green. Come on. I mentioned this earlier. Shake the Lake coming up, starting Friday at the Connexus Arts Center. Outside, outdoor concert, beautiful, all Canadian lineup this year. Tickets go up on Thursday. So if you're thinking you're on the fence, the weather looks good, get your tickets before Thursday. They go up a smidge. If you're waiting until the last minute, that's okay. Friday night, we got a little Finger 11, Helix, and Default. And somebody messaged on one of the text lines about the Default set list, because I am a massive Default fan, Dallas Smith. And I hope they play this one that's about 18 songs long. My favorite Default song, someone was asking, Let You Down. Dallas Smith played that in studio at the Goat in Lloydminster in 2001. And they were just starting out. They're touring Canada in a van. I remember it. Been a fan ever since. And they do have some really, really good songs. So if you want to go to Shake the Lake this weekend, our friends at Connexus are giving us 2 tickets to give away. 936-6262 over the next hour. You got to let us know who you want to see. Who's the Canadian band at Shake the Lake that you really want to see this weekend? It's going to be good. Hope to see you there on Friday. And also, if you want to go watch some baseball, let us know you want to watch some baseball too coming up this weekend at Curry Field. We're doing the show Thursday and Friday from Curry Field. So if you're there, stop by. We'll have a pint and a burger together. 10 teams taking part from across the country. The Canadian Men's National Championship. These guys, a lot of former pro players, experienced NCAA players playing. Regina's lost the last 2 years to Quebec in the final. Let's hope they get it done. The Regina Trappers are hosting it. We got tickets to that too. Let us know if you want baseball tickets. Lots of winning, lots going on, and now let's talk to Glen Suitor.
Time now for press coverage with CFL and Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Glen Suitor on the SportsCage. Brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090.
Okay, Suits, we got you on the phone today. I got to ask you, from these bands that are playing Connexus Arts Center Shake the Lake this weekend, which one would you really want to see? Helix, Finger 11, Default, the Stampeders, Trooper, or the Headstones?
Oh, Trooper.
I knew you were going to say that, Suits.
That's Trooper for sure. I mean, come on. I mean, that's right. That the Trooper, the hits from Trooper are going to bring you right back to what? Probably high school graduation, possibly, or just beyond that, maybe college. And but that's what music does, right? It takes you back to memories, and sometimes good, sometimes not so good, depending on the song or the artist. But Trooper, for me, that's a no-brainer.
And they're from Vancouver. They're from your neck of the. We're here for a good time. Raise a little hell. 3 dressed up as a 9. Boys in the bright whites.
Yes.
Lots of tune, Suits. You would have probably been pumped up for games listening to Trooper.
That was back when you wore silk shirts and white pants. Remember that? Like, that was when
I was 3.
The Hawaii. Okay. Yeah, I think I was in high school for sure, because I remember dancing to Trooper with white pants and a silk shirt on, which I would never put on today. But yeah, that you just named the hits. I mean, I'm already flashing back as you just say the titles.
White pants and silk shirt. We might need a new graphic for Suits. We might have to get rid of Bob the Bear and go with that. Nice week of football this past weekend. Let's start with the Riders, 8-1. What did you see in that game?
Yeah, Riders are the best team in the league. And now it's sort of, that was the statement game to me to prove it. And I mean, there's lots that can happen, and you have to stay on top of things and stay focused and all of those great cliches. But at the end of the day, you are what your record is, and if that's the case, the Riders are the best team in the league. And going into the game on the pregame show, we talked about so many people in that matchup thinking it was going to be really high scoring. And, my input from that was the Riders' defense to me is too strong in their front four by itself. Collectively, they may have the best front four, arguably the best front four in the league. So when you calculate that, thinking that they can rush 4 or just 3 and still get big-time pressure, that means they're dropping 9 or 8. And it's tighter windows, and it confuses quarterbacks, and even veterans will hold the ball a little bit longer. And that's why I wasn't so sure that the over was the bet in that game, even though everyone was talking about Bo Levi Mitchell versus Trevor Harris, and there's going to be tons of points, and it's probably going to be 70. I think Milt even was up there in his prediction of how many points would be scored. And I thought, I'm not sure we're giving enough credit to the Rider defense. Their front four is something that an entity that the Ticats have not faced until then. Their back end is a veteran group that will take the ball from you, and Jameer Thurman's one of the best leaders in the middle anyway. So yeah, I wasn't surprised by the outcome because I've been impressed with the Rider defense, honestly.
Yeah, well, it's you rushed when you can do what you're doing with the 4, like you said. Going back to the game though, very windy conditions, hot button topic. Brett Lauther. A few more weeks to work out the kinks. Do you think they're gonna maybe bring somebody in, or do you just let the veteran work it out on his own?
Well, we've talked about this, and I my opinion is not going to change here. I think if you trade for a veteran kicker, if it's even possible, you are saying to Brett that it's over. Basically, we're bringing in another guy that's proven, and we're going to make a change. I think it's better to bring in a young live leg that in practice, might hit 85%, but do it very impressively because he's young and he's got a live leg and is going to put it 20 yards past the uprights anyway. But it pushes Lowther to continue to work on his game, keep his focus. And I've said it many, many times that competition is way better than any coach's speech. It's even better than trash talking and, feeling disrespected by the opponent. The guy behind you on the depth chart is going to push you more than anything. And that's what I would still do. And I would tell Brett, it's still your job. But this is a results-oriented business, and I think he will be fine. I really do. I still do, and I haven't, because I see him striking the ball, and I think he's hitting it cleanly. It's just, it must be that he's overthinking it at times, or he's putting extra pressure on himself. I'm not sure. Only he can answer that. But the one thing I do know is that you bring in a relatively unknown live leg and say, we're just bringing him in for competition, we're going to see, that'll push him more than anything.
I know we talked about it too, and you said 3 scores. You keep everybody in at 3 scores. But I'm wondering if Coach Mace, and if we do get to another, where it's maybe out of reach a little bit, if he is a little more quick on the trigger and pulling Harris after that hit he took in the 4th.
I'm going to pay for this, I'm sure. But I think at times coaches with veteran quarterbacks, and even some young ones that we know are going to be, all-stars, like Nathan Rourke or Davis Alexander, I think coaches may be getting a little reckless at the end of the games. And it's tough because I have seen the 3-score comeback, and so have many of these coaches. And they don't want to be, the ones that everyone's talking about. How did you give up a 3-possession game? How did you give that up at the end in the 4th quarter? They don't want to be answering those questions. Mm-hmm. However, to me, it's a confidence-building move to pull your starter to say, job well done. We're up 3 scores. We're up 3 possessions here. So that could be, a 17-point game, basically. It could be, you need 3 possessions to either tie or go ahead. And if you get to that point with 5 minutes to go, thank you, Trevor. Job well done. Yeah. We believe in our backup to continue with the high standard that we've set. That's why the backup is there. So go ahead and run the offense through the backup. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just, these guys are just too valuable, and I don't know. I'm with you guys. Like 7 minutes to go, 3-score lead. I'm saying get him out.
Yeah. Well, especially now after he took that lick that Colson was just playing. If you're watching the feed on YouTube, anybody out there, the West, Glenn. Last week, Saski wins big, BC, Edmonton, Winnipeg. The West is rolling here, and the Lions now starting to look really legit.
It's a great point, Barney, because right now the Lions have taken a step. And I've said, and we talked about this about a month and a half ago, that Nathan Rourke is playing at a level where he can score with any team in the league right now. Their offense can keep track or keep pace with any other team offensively. So he could go dual drives or whatever. Their issue has been their defense. Their issue for BC has been that they weren't good enough on the front four. They weren't stopping the run. They were giving up way too many yards, and their secondary was, let's be honest, had some issues in tackling. So you fast forward these last 2 weeks now, they played their best football. Their front four has made a difference, and they've done it. They got more pressure in this last game than they have all season long with just their four front guys. And Matthew Betts was prominent. You saw him quite often causing problems. And I know it's the 3rd or 4th string quarterbacks that they're facing, but it doesn't change. The O-line was starters, and the D-line won in that game, and it was also the best game for the Lions from their secondary tackling.
Mm.
And if they shore those two things up, they're right in the mix. Like if they play defense like that the rest of the year, they're going to take a run.
Okay, can I ask you this? And let's say it's the end of the year, and both quarterbacks are healthy for both teams. Teams are relatively healthy. You got one game. Who are you taking, Winnipeg or BC?
Right now, probably BC. You know that I don't make predictions and stuff, but I really am impressed. First of all, Nathan Rourke is now what? He's thrown for over 400 once, I think, in the season. I think 5 of his 7 starts, he's over 300. I think the Lions, if they could, all they needed to do was shore up their defense. And let's wait though. They've only played at this level defensively for 2 weeks, and let's see in the next 3 weeks if they can maintain that level. Because if they can, here's a outside prediction: if they can maintain that level of play on defense, they're going to be 3-0 in their next 3.
What's your take on the Argos playing 3 home games in other parks and maybe not looking closer to the GTA?
Yeah, I mean, from the surface, I don't like it really. I mean, when you're not in the meetings, you haven't heard the stats, the numbers, the options, the dates, all of those things that come into these decisions. Having not been in those meetings, it's a little unfair to get all wound up about it. But ideally, it takes 3. Ideally, you'd like to figure out a way to play where your home crowd, your season ticket holders, can get to your home games relatively easily. So, if that was in Vancouver, for instance, Amar Doman, I don't think yet, unless he did it today, hasn't announced exactly what they're going to do with the World Cup. But my guess would be that Amar Doman will try to figure out maybe a Vancouver Island option. And he's already played a game on the island. He built a temporary stadium, which costs money. And his season ticket holders relatively easily can make it to those games. When the Argos have announced to play in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, and Hamilton, they can't get to 2 of those games unless they're flying and booking hotels and things like that. That's the part that, I'm not crazy about. But it's tough to be overly critical when you're not in the meetings and don't see the options and the numbers.
It just seems there would be so many options in that area, or even if you wanted to go a little bit further out of the GTA, of parks that would be able to hold their 8,000 to 10,000 people, whatever they would get. That I like you said, we don't know the ins and outs, the inside baseball. We don't know. But I was going to ask you about the Lions. I like the island, and I totally forgot about kind of what they built there. I remember you were super excited to go work that game last year. Why wouldn't a guy?
Yeah.
But does Kamloops come into play? Does Kelowna come into play for the Lions, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think when you work with the community, the local government, and you are working on, costs of building the temporary stadium, making sure the field is safe and meets the standards of pro football, and all of those sort of logistical issues that you have to work out. Once that is done, you put it all together, and as long as all parties are saying, yeah, we're here to help. That was the case on the island. The local government on the island wanted that to happen. And when local government wants it to happen, they find a way. They share the costs. They work on the logistics, how to get people to and from. How about safety? How about washrooms? All of those things, concessions. But yeah, I would say, just guessing from the outside, I haven't talked to Amar recently, but I would guess that Kelowna would be in the mix, Vancouver Island would be in the mix. And the second option to me, beyond where your season ticket holders could get to your games, your home games, would be the neutral site Halifax.
Oh.
So why not try to arrange 3 games for the Argos in Halifax? And, if you're going to have to move away from your, where your season ticket holders can get there comfortably, then do it in a neutral site where you're trying to build a new market. So there, I don't know. It's, again, I want to be careful because I'm reluctant to get critical when I'm not in the meeting.
And then kind of the hamster wheel was going, and I'm like, I would take Saskatoon as maybe an option.
Absolutely, a neutral site.
Yeah,
and Argos and Lions play there, for a game, and the Riders may not be in that game, but you're bringing pro football in a regular season game to a new market, like they did in Halifax. That was great. It was great for the game. It was great for amateur football there. It was, it got people talking, got people engaged. So yeah, I know that more and more details will come out as to why these choices are being made, but yeah, we'll see. And let's see what Amar Doman does in Vancouver.
Yeah, well, that is going to be an interesting one. If there's a Victoria game and they need an usher or any kind of, manual labor, let me know. Tough news. Let's close on this. It keeps getting worse for the Alouettes. Caleb Evans suffers a torn ACL, out for the season. They signed Shea Patterson today. It's kind of the worst fear of a CFL team, CFL fan base, is just quarterback after quarterback keep going down.
Yeah, it is unlucky that they have been hit like that in the same position, and it's the most important position on the field, probably in sports, to be honest. And I mean, I think the coach's message, and Jason Moss in this case, is going to try and sell that football is a team game. And I think as a coach, you can do that when you're on your number 2 and maybe your number 3. But when you get to 5, and no, this is not disrespect for Shea Patterson, but he's got a lot of learning to do. It's going to be a steep curve. And, he's got the physical skills. There's no question about that. And they're going to have to change their approach and probably be more conservative, at least early. But it is part of the game. It's just unlucky when you get hit in one position. It's like losing 6 receivers by this time of the year. Yeah. Now you're just like down to 3rd and 4th, 5th, guys. So yeah, tough on Montreal, but I know the other teams in the league aren't feeling sorry for them.
What? And I know it's only Tuesday. What games do you got this week?
Well, Barney, this has never happened before in my 30 years in television. I have the week off and are going to do a little fishing trip with my kid. I'm thinking we're living with the Bears anyway. We might as well go camping or something. And it's, before summer ends and we get back into fall and the turn at Labor Day, my next game is the Labor Day game in Regina, so Labor Day Sunday. So for the first time ever, I'm going to have a week off.
What, right? So, Colson, that we can expect maybe some salmon dropped off at the station when you come for the Labor Day game, or what kind of fishing are you doing?
Well, the first thing I'll do is send you pictures. I know you can't eat the pictures, but maybe I can vacuum pack some and bring them out to you in Saskatchewan.
I would actually prefer a video of you with a salmon and throwing it on your lawn, and let's see how long before Bob comes by and eats that because I don't eat seafood, so that'd be it for me. Are we going to talk Thursday then?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, Suits. Thanks so much. Enjoy the week off. Talk to you Thursday.
Yeah, sound good, guys.
Right
Thanks.
on. That is press coverage with our man Glen Suitor for Bronco Plumbing and heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090. You don't want to be caught with a broken air conditioner right now, and tomorrow's hot again, and September is going to be hot. So if you need some work done or you need one installed, Bronco Plumbing and Heating. We have a bunch of text messages to go through, Colson. Some funny kids out there. See, people are starting to shake the lake tickets. 936-6262. Let us know what band you want to see at Shake the Lake this weekend. Some people are even saying what songs they want to hear. We're going to give away those. We're still doing SaskTel Pick the Score, and we're also giving away tickets to the Canada Men's National Championship. We've had a few people message saying they want to watch some baseball. Enter them all. At this point, it's a land rush. It's a SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. All right. Sask Lotteries, Tuesdays, main fundraiser for sport, culture, and recreation in our province. Okay, let's get to this Prairie Land Rentals text line, Colson. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street. Get to deal with the owner, whatever you need on that rental, or if you want to buy something, Husqvarna, go see Jeremy and his crew there. Okay, we got a question first off. It was a while ago. Travis and Regina wanted to know update on Sean Bain Jr. From what I know, talking is he's close. Closer than anybody else. You hear the brace? He's got the playing brace now.
Yeah, I think Dave Thomas mentioned to us that he's in a playing brace now and not like a medical one. So doesn't mean he's back yet, but that's a positive sign.
Trisha still loved the message about the supposed billboard that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have put up. Friends don't let friends wear green. That's at the Vic Ave. Something on Vic Ave there. So if you send us a picture, be safe though. Not if you're driving on that. Lots of pick the scores. Bill from Chilliwack. Current rider team is the best since 68, 69, 70 riders. I should know. I was at the games back then. Thanks, Bill from Chilliwack. Brandon's got a question for me. If you're the coach, one of your players, would you bench or choose to believe? And isn't Coach Mace known for standing behind his players, and that's why his players want to play for him? Yes. That's the tough one, right? But then also, you owe it to the other players to be the best team and to win the jug. So I think he's going to stand with them on the fence, but good question, Brandon. This Michael one's long. He's trying to win Shake the Lake tickets, but I think there's some funny, good stuff in here. I'm going to have to circle back to that one. Ron and Deb are back at it. They're going to the game, obviously, in Calgary. See you at McMahon, Barney. Let's hope. It'll be tough. He completely agrees with Arash, Doubles, and Schultze. Stick with your vet. Talking about Lawther. He is a pro. He has the yips. Fighting the puck, whatever. He hasn't lost any skill. It's between the ears. He's got to fight to go through it. For sure it is. For sure. It's not like, he's got something wrong with his body physically. It is absolutely between the ears. How do you bounce back from that? I don't know. I've never kicked pro football. It would suck because you're the loneliest guy when you're missing them. But, Colson, can we go to 5 first here?
I was going to ask, have you ever kicked amateur football?
Yeah, I kicked in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You said no, not pro. So I just had to make sure you kicked a football, period.
Yeah, and I kicked with my toe. Massive pigeon move. But
toe
field goals.
Okay.
And place kicking. Tom Sargent, coach of the Hilltops. Let me go in and kick for 2 games. It was fun. Okay, so we got a clip on Lawther here, clip 5, Colson. He's asked, what did he make of the reaction from his teammates after kicking that 59-yard field goal?
Yeah, it's awesome, I guess, too. I get I don't want to say it's embarrassing, but it's more the other guys trying to pick you up for, how bad you have been. So it's like I said, you can't thank the team enough. They've been here for a while and through the ups and downs and good seasons, bad seasons, and never had team support and everything here. I think everyone on the outside can see it, so it's just disappointing to, be in this position and even up here right now and talking about such a negative with like how many good things are in that locker room and around this team and in this province. So just back to, like I said, chopping wood, trying to work hard every day. It's I think it's easy to be a leader when stuff's going well and, you know, to be able to say the right things, but now just focusing on coming in every day, not changing, you know, still being supportive to the guys in the room, doing everything I can to keep a smile on my face and, you know, get through this time and try to keep rolling and stop being a distraction so we can start talking about the better players on the team right now.
Like I said, I got to know Brett a bit. He is a great guy and an absolute competitor. So hoping for the best. He's also asked, how does he balance the team being 8-1 with his current struggles?
I mean, I guess that's a good thing. I would trade before the season, you know, being the worst player in the league if it meant team success, and being 8-1, it's awesome to have that for the guys, and everyone in the room's been unreal, and you kind of dream about being on teams like this and how supportive and how good everyone is. You know, I feel selfish taking away time here to do interviews when we should be talking about, you know, all the successes of the team and the coaches and, you know, everything Craig Reynolds to J.O. to what Trevor's doing and all the receivers. There's so many good stories, and instead, you know, selfishly taking up time to talk about how bad I am at kicking a football. So
see, he's a beauty. He's a beauty. Self-deprecation for sure. And then the last one here from Brett was, did he take some solace after making that 59-yarder?
Yeah, I can't. None at all. You know, I would trade making that 59-yard kick to just be able to go out and be more consistent and do my job to the standard that the rest of the team's doing it right now. So haven't even really thought about it. Just kind of came in on the off day, got some kicking in. It went well. Today went well. But, I mean, it should. Like, there's no wind. It's 30 degrees. I'm on the sticks. It should be going well, but just got to find a way to translate it into the games.
Appreciate him answering those questions. Royally sucks, but he probably knew he's going to have to do it. So and we hope Brett bounces back. Andrew up in Saskatoon, Lawther all the way. Last game was super windy, for sure it was. Handy Andy in Saskatoon. I got to know west side or east side. If you're from Saskatoon and you're listening, I just got to know. See, Dennis is getting into the music here, wants to win Shake the Lake tickets. He's it looks like he's a big Stampeders fan. We still got a few minutes to get in if you want to go to that Shake the Lake. Yeah, it's East Sider. All right, Andrew, we'll let it slide. There's some other ones here I can't read. Lots of funny. One more from Ron and Deb. They just sent in, I think Montreal's QB Morgan has a little Mike Riley in him. Ron and Deb, they have their eyeball. They got finger on the pulse. Their eyeballs. Not a lot gets by them. We'll see. We'll see what he is like, for sure. There's a bunch here I can't get to. Hey, everybody farming out there, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting us know where you're farming from. I did write down some of the names. Reg around Yorkton. Tim is in Imperial. Wes is south of Moose Jaw. Fred, I think it was, around Dundurn. Mike in Imperial. Thanks to everyone who's messaging in while harvesting and listening. Hopefully you've been entertained today with everything. The solo mission, it's nice sometimes, and then other times it is hectic. 3 hours in the books. Okay, when we get back, we're going to do Sports Ticker? Let's do Sports Ticker right now, if we can. Sorry, I know I hate putting you on the spot, Colson. Okay, we're going to go break. We're going to go Sports Ticker, and then we're going to hear from Antoine Brooks Jr., who was moved from defense to offense today at Rider practice. SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Riders are back at the practice field today. Mario Alford is fielding some punts. Also some interesting, we're going to hear from him in a bit. Antoine Brooks Jr. moved from defense to offense. Riders signed American defensive back Benny Sapp III today. Not to be confused with Benny Sapp II. 6'1", 205-pound defender. Played 5 regular season games with the Green Bay Packers in 2023. Montreal, they've signed Shea Patterson. Of course, he was here last year. He had a 2-4-1 record 2 years with the Riders. 5 interceptions. Major League Baseball tonight. The Blue Jays back in Pittsburgh right now. I don't have an update on that one. Let's get a quick one. The score for you Blue Jay fans. They're up 5-1 in the top of the fourth right now. Some hockey news. Sergei Fedorov, his number's being retired by the Red Wings. Sweet white skates back in the day. Number 91. NFL fans, and if you're a Browns fan, you got Joe Flacco. Old man Joe chucking the ball for you. He's been named the starting QB. The Colts are going to go with the ever-popular Daniel Jones as their starter in Week 1. The ticker in Hour 3 is for Steelcraft Doors Regina, built in Western Canada for Western Canadians. If you need a garage door, they have it, as they now have a 40,000 square foot warehouse right here in Regina. Okay, continuing on. Everyone that's playing along, got about 5 minutes left. Shake the Lake tickets, pick the score, baseball for the Canada Men's National Championship. We'll get that all wrapped up. Maz is in tomorrow. He's got a good show planned for tomorrow as well. I'm back doing the regular job for a bit tomorrow. So Maz is in tomorrow. Thursday, Friday, we're live from Curry Field. If anyone's going to watch the Men's National Baseball Championship, it's going to be so good. I promised it, though. He moved from defense to offense today. Caught us all off guard. Dave Thomas caught up with Antoine Brooks Jr.
Antoine Brooks Jr.
What's up, man?
You have traded your white practice jersey for a green practice jersey, emblematic of changing from defense to offense. Tell me about this decision.
Honestly, this decision is just based on the team. Whatever the team needs, if they like me there, if they like me here, I'm just glad I could be a great asset to my team and at least help them, help the quarterback, help anything possible in the way. If I got to block all day, I block. I don't care. I don't even need the ball.
Now, have you ever played running back before? Because you were working with them today.
I honestly gave up my offensive stuff after my injury in high school, so that's really where it ended at. I always was better on offense. If you ask everybody at home, they all happy right now. They all trying to say if he get the ball, you know what he gonna do. Look, at home they know that's where I was born at. Born being a running back, born to being an offensive player. My dad grew me up on just making sure you could do as many things as possible, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to be the person that they could put you anywhere and you be able to succeed.
So who had this conversation? You with the team or the team with you?
Nah, the team with me. Yeah, I just come out here and work hard, man. The scout team reps, it kind of all that stuff kind of matters, especially when the eye in the sky watching. So you never, let up when you down. It doesn't matter where you at. You just work hard, put your head down, and trust me, some blessings will come.
Well, it looked like it came pretty natural. Your footwork looked sensational right off the start. How did you feel?
Nah, it felt good. It felt good. A little more extra work, and I love it. Than DB, because DB, we gotta be patient with our feet. We gotta slow down everything, and even process what's going on in front of us. At running back, I always had footwork. Growing up, footwork was probably my favorite thing to do anyway. Footwork and a little bit of strides. That's it. But I always did the ladders. Always did footwork and stuff. And honestly, half of that stuff is kind of natural. But I honestly worked out all this when I was a kid. I used to work out tremendous all the time about my conditioning. Honestly, is offensive stuff ever since I've been to college. So since I played college football, I played defense. And I just, for some reason, running routes and running running back routes and stuff like that is just more tiring than just backpedaling and running. You know what I'm saying? So me running routes and then lining back up, running routes again, lining back up. That was always my conditioning. So I kind of already knew, I kind of got the natural ability to be a natural guy on offense, honestly. So I always worked out. I always made sure I was okay and clean. And honestly, I know what a DB wants or a defender wants. So it's just a lot of things that can help.
Tell me about diving into the playbook, then. It's an entirely different side.
Yeah, diving in the playbook was a little difficulty, but honestly, when you got teammates that care for the game and care for you, they'll make sure that you're okay and make sure that you get to play and do the right thing.
What do you need to do then to go ahead and prove that this is where you fit?
Honestly, just make sure I work hard, make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, and make sure I'm aligned right, and making sure that my quarterback don't get touched. That's my favorite. That's going to be my key thing this week or period, honestly, when I'm at running back. Making sure my quarterback don't get touched under my condition.